Hey everyone, welcome to another Throwback Thursday. Today we have a fun one because it's from Johns Hopkins freshman Taite Cattoni. This interview took place in 2013 when he was just a young little guy at Arundel College in Canada. Yeah, before he went to Salisbury School in Connecticut, he was actually going to high school out there in Canada. And it's pretty interesting because I saw him at a MadLax event out at Landon School for boys. So this interview takes place years before he knew he was going to Johns Hopkins. Of course, his brother was already there, but it's just one of those things that when you take a little snapshot back in time to the way recruiting was and the way things kind of happened, he relays a little bit of what it was like to get recruited out of Canada. He mentions a lot of phone calls. Again, it was a different time now that we have the new recruiting rules in sight, but this one's a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it.
Taite Cattoni, 2018, Arundel College, and Apex Club.
All right, and you're a little bit unique because you're one of the guys from Canada here. I think there's 12 states in Canada, and I don't know how many Canadians are here, but you're definitely one of them. And I already confessed my geographic ignorance a little bit earlier. So why don't you kind of like try to explain to people exactly kind of where you are in Canada?
We're on the left side of Canada, just right beside British Columbia. It's a long flight from Toronto to Calgary, and I'm from Calgary, Alberta, so just right there.
Yeah, I think you said it's what, like a total of like 8 hours.
It's an 8-hour trip here. It's a whole day of flying basically for us.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about what is it like getting recruited out of that part of Canada?
It's tough, you know. A lot of phone calls, phoning a lot of coaches. It's not like you can get in a car and drive there and see them every week. And tougher. I'm only here maybe once every half a year.
Yeah.
And so it's been tough for coaches to come see me play.
So how do you stay in touch? How do you kind of get the word out?
I talk to a lot of kids from those schools that I'm talking to the coaches. Talk to them that I visit on my visits or my stayovers at those schools.
Mm-hmm. And how about, obviously, is highlight tape something you kind of rely on? Because obviously you can send that to coaches pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I record all the way from my box videos from my season in box, from little pickup games in Calgary, Alberta field games, and from Team Canada, First Team USA, and Union. That's where I was about a month ago, and we had to send the whole game to the coaches that were interested in me.
Yeah. So what does a tournament like this kind of help? And like, how does this help? What does this do for you?
It means a lot for me, especially to meet the coaches. Have 3 games, and then also an all-star game and team MVPs. Really showcase your skill, and really get the word out about yourself to the top Div 1 coaches in the program the country.
Yeah. Now you might have a little bit of advantage over some of the typical freshmen because you got a brother that's at Hopkins. Kind of, how much help has he been, through this process, if at all?
He was a huge help. He basically told me what I needed to do. Get my grades, where they need to be, and absolutely just go to as many recruiting trips as you can. Introduce yourself to the coaches. Anytime you see a school that you want to go introduce yourself to the coach.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of way he's kind of helped me kind of go through this early recruiting process.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, like I think before off camera, you mentioned like what the recruiting process was like for him. Was he even a little bit surprised that things were already moving for you when it took him?
Yeah, absolutely. He was recruited in his first week as a junior in high school. Now I started getting recruited as a sophomore. It's ridiculous almost, but it's also good at the same time to see the coaches get to see the young skills. So it's almost kind of a guessing game sometimes, but that's always good.
Yeah. All right.